screen. But they can go, and you do one-day seminars all across the country free.
The thing,
is that right?
Yes, the thing I'd encourage you to do is if you go to our website, it'll list workshops, and check out Champions Workshop. A Champions Workshop is 3 hours, and we do a module. We do an actual experiential thing. You do it that night on how to solve a problem when you have no idea what to do. You got a problem with your house right now due to economic situation, you can't hold on to it, and you got to sell the house and no houses are selling. You can solve that problem for real. You want to lose weight, you can solve that problem. It's really James 2:17. Faith without works is dead, but we leave the scripture out because we have a lot of people, you know what we do? We teach kingdom principles and we draw them in, see, and when we produce results for people. So anyway, go to that 3-hour workshop. You can enroll online. We do probably a dozen of these around the United States every month, so we're somewhere near you. And then you have, once you experience us for 3 hours, you'll take a whole weekend, you'll explore lots we have to offer. There's also 52 free lessons you can sign up for on that website. You get, every week you get a lesson from us.
So what, so someone's watching right now and they're like, man, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to even begin to make changes or begin to get out of the situation I'm in. What's a quick step or something that they can begin to do right away?
Besides reading a book or going to a workshop, huh?
Yeah, on my flight over here, I was on the plane and I was talking to the stewardess, and she's like, "I'm reading a book, how to." I was like, "I know that guy." They were reading one of your books. It's changing people's lives. But what's something right besides reading a book, and something they can begin to put to practice?
Gosh, there's so many different things. Let's do this one. A huge thing I get into in all our seminars, any of them, churches or business, is the notion of victim versus responsible. Victim is the notion, it's being done to me. Responsible is, I'm at cause for my experience out of the choices I make. This is a 3-hour interactive process. It's very heavy, heavy in a sense of it's revolutionary. Turn your life upside down. And quite frankly, I addressed this in Compassionate Samurai. A lot of Christians have troubles looking at the idea of responsible. Watch this. This is a set of sunglasses. A lot of people have a set of sunglasses called either or. Either I can come to Hawaii or buy a car. I can either have a great family life or run a great business. They don't see how they can do both things. Abundance. So when you start talking about responsible, if you start talking about you being responsible, Christians sometimes go, well, that means God's not. Ooh, that sounds humanistic. I don't want anything to do with that. So now I'll make God responsible and I'm not. Well, holy moly. You talk to a lot of Christians, I don't mean to offend any of your listeners, but it's God, the devil. I mean, they're not on the hook for nothing, you know. So this is a concept where God is responsible and you are responsible, and you start looking at your choices. So a beginning little thing that they could do is simply start saying in every place, make a list of all the places you feel you have to. I have to deal with traffic to get to work. I have to go to school. When we do our teenage seminars, this is how we start out with the kids. They're like, I have to go to school. I have to go to school. No, you don't. Yes, I do. No, I don't. Yes, I do. And then finally one of them says, look, if I don't go to school, they'll put me into juvenile hall. Well, yeah, that's called a consequence. So you're choosing to go to school instead of going to juvenile hall, you know. Now, so if all you do is make a list of the have-tos, very simply, and then start saying to yourself, I choose to do that. And you choose to do it because there's some consequence you don't want to pay, right? The experience you'll have when you're doing the same thing, you're in traffic and you start saying, I choose to be in this traffic. Even though you're still in traffic, you will have a totally different experience in that traffic than if you were saying, I have to, that kind of thing. So that might be a tangible first step that somebody could do to start transforming their life.
There's so much more. You got so much in you, but we appreciate you taking just a few minutes to stop by and let us know what's happening.
Folks, if you have not, I know on a show Dave is one way, but if you have not experienced Dave live in a church service or at some other event, you have to. He is the funniest man I know. And one of the me, I'm not so funny. I admit it. You know, I'm intense. But the advantage of humor is, I think a lot of times people can hear things, messages from God, in a humorous way that sometimes my intensity they don't. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're both trying to do the same thing. Get people to change their thinking.
Right hand.
They can change their thinking. They can change their life. You change the way you look at things, the things you're looking at will begin to change. And Brian is a transformation specialist, helping people change the way they look at things. And that's what we want to help you. That's what the Word says. If you, as a man thinketh, as he said earlier, so is he. I never could see myself doing that. Well, you never will. You got to change the way you're looking at things. And so I'm telling you, visit the website. You'll find more information. His book, The Compassionate Samurai, you can get a hold of that. Amazon.com, all those are available. It'll really help you and change your life. Hey, listen, we'll be right back. Thank you again for being with us all the way here in Hawaii. And you got to come to one of these Increase events. It'll really change your life.